Welcome back to Hot and Cold Podcast. All right, first of all, I'm so sorry from each and every one of us. I am so sorry it has taken so long to get another episode out. A couple things happened. I got a new laptop. Took me a while to get accustomed to that. Now I'm on a Mac and it's weird and it's not Microsoft. We just started up class, if you didn't know. We have been, just struggling, getting through, just always busy, except Connor has like 6 off days. I don't even know how it's possible, but it's like he doesn't even go to school. Yeah. And I got some news for everybody that's listening on the podcast. Bryson is back.
We're back.
Bryson is so back. We're so back. And he opens up with a big time headphone warning, because I know if you're wearing headphones, that hurt the eardrums. But
they're fine.
But all right, let's just kick it off. So before we get started, a special shout out to our sponsor, Adrenaline Shock. Our buddies over there, the best energy drink on the market. Adrenaline Shock Smart Energy, based out of California. You become a surfer bro when you drink this. So it's like 300 milligrams of caffeine. All right, I think we were doing a flavor. Well, before we took a brief hiatus, we were doing like a flavor thing. I'm pretty sure Connor has it all tracked. All right, yeah. So I do want to update the rankings a bit. I think we might have a double winner back to back again.
Really?
So the new one's blue. My favorite one is blue.
The blue raspberry?
The blue raz.
Are you sleeping on the fruit punch?
That is not my favorite. I do like it. It's not my favorite. I will be honest. But kind of moving on. Let's get into some college basketball. We have a little bit to unpack. Again, a part of the reason we were on that hiatus is because nothing was happening. So Monday, actually, Mike Woodson's back at it. He's at it again. He secured another 5-star commitment, and that is Jalen Hood Schifino. We talked about it for a long time in our last podcast, which feels like forever ago. But we talked about it a long time in our last podcast, but now it's finally a thing. Connor, I'm sure you have a ton of commentary on this, so let's just get it out of the way.
Yeah, so it's actually funny because I think it was probably a month ago when there was a little bit of a doom and gloom episode where I was.
Yeah, it was very doom gloom. Yeah.
Where I was basically just like, they're in a bad spot. And someone actually replied to that tweet when I tweeted something. It was like all in on Jalen Hood Schifino. And I was like, who is this guy? Like, what? Like we just maybe contacted him. Like, there's no way we're going to be able to get him. We're too late. Probably. I didn't realize that he had like committed to Pitt and then decommitted at that time, but he did. And now, like, I was all in. Apparently, he had a good relationship with Kenya Hunter all the way back to the Archie days. Like, not surprised he didn't commit to IU though. Back in those days, but
you didn't think that was an Archie commitment waiting to happen,
bro? It was out of state.
Out of state. This is two now.
State. True.
This is 2 out of state commits. It's probably is there 2 top commits out of state, Bryson? Like, I think Thomas Bryant might be higher than them, but I can't remember.
It's like 2 of the last 3 in the last 9 years have committed in the last 5 months.
Jeez. That is Mike Woodson at his finest. He is bringing IU back to the top, and then they're gonna just. You know what I'm predicting, and what me and Wyatt were telling you in that one interview.
Yes, I know.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, there could be an epic failure coming, but again.
But maybe there isn't. Maybe it's just they're back.
The expectations still have to be like reasonable. They can't be like, I mean, I joke with you, first in the Big Ten, they're going to win it, but that's not going to happen. Like, Michigan's still good. Yeah. Illinois is still good. Like, I know we have our Illinois jokes ready to go, but they're still good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that the backcourt of Schifino and Tamar Bates, though, the year after, could be one of the best backcourts that IU has like ever had.
So you think Bates, you think Bates is going to be here another year?
I hope so. That
You do hope so.
Someone was tweeting about that during the Bahamas who was down there, and they were like, we're going to be lucky if this guy is a 2-year player, because I don't know if he is. I was like, oh man, that's not good. But the idea of it, the idea of Schifino and Bates 6'5" backcourt is just, I can't even imagine.
Bryson, you're our scouting guy of the podcast. You're a good talent evaluator. You're probably the best out of all of us at actually seeing the real talent in the field. So tell us a little bit about Jalen Hood Schifino and what you think of him as a player.
You know, what's funny, Sam, is the last one that I did and I never got to go on was of Jalen Hood Schifino.
So you did the research for it. So this is great. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me just a second to find it.
So
okay,
I'll filibuster here. Bryce and I are in the same business law class, and I was not paying attention in class today.
How dare you?
I know. Business law,
the class
second
was
day.
terrible.
Pretty boring. But was doing my highlight watching today, as I have been already. But there was a Inside the Hall provided a perfect thing just for me. It was all the highlight videos you could find into one page. So I just had to click the YouTube. There's 4 of them. And I just watched them all. So it was great.
Who put that? Did Tyler put that together?
No, I think it was the head guy at Inside the Hall.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Bozic.
I was about to give Tyler a shout out, but I mean, it wasn't him. But
It
all
was
right,
not.
Bryson, if you have it pulled up, let's hear it.
So Jalen Hood Schifino, 6'6", 200. A big point guard, obviously, bigger than most for his size. But the thing is, he isn't just a point guard. They say he can play 1 through 3, which is nice with the versatility. Moves very well in transition. Would rather play in transition than in the half court. And with that, he's got great vision. He's a good passer. He can set up his teammates really well. He can hit a pull-up jumper if he needs to. I would say shooting isn't necessarily his strength, but he can do it if he needs to. And he's very crafty around the rim, as a 6'6" point guard probably should be. And then I just thought he needed to work a little bit more on his range and consistency. Shooting. When you're 6'6", a good ball handler, and you can defend, I mean, that's probably natural that you need to work on it. And then my comp that I had for him, college-wise, was Michael Carter-Williams at Syracuse.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I like that comp. Just a tall point guard that may struggle from the outside, but he's going to bring the playmaking. I like that. But does it worry you all right, I'm not going to use that phrasing, but I'll say it like this. Do you think that has to be, for both of you can answer, do you think that this has to be a wake-up call? Tamar Bates has to get that 3-ball going if he's going to play with a guy like Schifino next year. Because obviously Schifino is going to be that playmaking guy. He doesn't want to take the jumper. He wants to get in the paint like Bryson. When I hear that comp, I think, does that make you worry when Tamar Bates is primarily a slasher as we know of him right now?
No. Well,
okay.
No, not necessarily. Like they don't just, Tamar doesn't just have to be like, oh, okay, God, I only can shoot threes now. Like I think he can still do what he needs to do. My guess is that Woodson would prefer that, Schifino could play off the ball as well. So I think he not only is going to have to get his jumper ready to go too, because there's no place for him not to be able to shoot a 3. Same with Tamar. So I think that in the highlight videos, you saw Tamar, he was shooting better. Like I think he was shooting like 3s in mid range. So as long as they're surrounded with shooters as well, then I'm not too worried about it yet, at least. From my highlight watching, Schifino is at least a good mid-range shooter. I mean, he shot some 3s. His shot doesn't look terrible. It looks a little funky.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like, I'm not worried yet. I'm just
Okay.
happy we can't be beggars can't be choosers
no,
yet.
yeah, and I'm not telling you to be
Yeah.
worried. I'm just telling you as just from a fit standpoint, and we're a couple of years out of the line, but maybe the mold is out there for tomorrow. Something to work on is the shooting, because as you described him as you said, this isn't making fun of you. You said James Harden as like the
Absolutely.
playmaker, as a guy that's crafty, dribbler, and get to the rim really well. But maybe he needs to work on that catch and shoot. If
that's
Schifino
the next step
rises.
for him, I think.
Yeah.
And I feel like he built that role in high school as kind of being that main ball handler.
Yeah.
Because I think he came off the bench in high school, right? I think that's.
No, I think he did.
Or does he start? Did he start now?
Yeah, he started, but it was with
maybe he was running with the second. Yeah, he might have been running some of the second group stuff, but I think that's the next step for him. I'm not sure he's had to do that much, where he just kind of is off the ball.
Yeah.
So, and he's going to have to do that with Trace, especially. He can't really be a slasher when Trace and Race are like sitting on the block,
clogging the paint.
That's not going to work. So,
I'm sure Woodson has a plan for that. I don't I don't envision a scenario in where Mike Woodson allows consistently Race Thompson and Trace Jackson Davis to be on the court together. Just because from a fit standpoint, I think they both deserve minutes, obviously, but from a fit standpoint, it's hard to see them consistently playing minutes together and keeping that 4-out, 1-in style. And I know Race he's went out there, he hit a couple threes in the Bahamas, but we'll see where that leads in.
Were you surprised that they started Bryson?
A little bit.
I
but
was.
At the same time, I mean, Race, what you're gonna get in Race and Trace, and I think that's a safe lineup to start. It wouldn't shock me towards the end of the year if Race doesn't end up in more of a coming off the bench 6-man role, to kind of relieve Trace if he needs to. If that means maybe Miller Kopp slides down to the 4, or if Geronimo keeps progressing, maybe you slide him in to get a little smaller if the matchup calls for it. So I think we'll see Race and Trace start initially, just because you know what you're going to get. And then it wouldn't shock me towards the end of the year if someone or Race slid to the bench.
You know what this reminds me of? And it is very familiar for both of you. It's a clunky fit, kind of like Turner and Sabonis.
You didn't need to say.
And
You didn't. No,
but
that's something that you didn't need to bring up is the Turbonis. Like Turbonis is something that I never wanted to bring to the podcast as a discussion, but now that we're here, let's do it. Yes and no. I think because of Race, obviously he's trying to stretch the floor. He's trying to be a guy that becomes more of a slasher than stay in the paint type big. I don't think he'll progress enough to become so proficient that he but can be played with Trace on like long stretches. So I do think, and I said this since the beginning, I think Miller Kopp takes that starting role before the beginning of the season. And I think Race and Tamar off the bench, I think that's a solid pick and roll lineup for IU. And I think you go Xavier, Parker. I'm not sure who you run at the 3, but then Kopp and Trace. I think that's the lineup you go with. Do you agree with me, or?
For the most, and yeah, it's not like, I know Turner's definitely more of a stretch. It's like the college version of that. But I think they start, and then they basically are going to like spell each other. Like Race will be the first sub out.
Yeah.
But then he'll be coming back in pretty quickly to get Trace, and then they'll stagger those guys like for the rest of the game. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. They're definitely not going to play extended minutes together because they just won't work. And Trace is probably going to close, I would guess, every game. And if Race has got it going, then they'll close together. But if not, then I'm guessing they don't close. I don't know. But again, Race was a 40% three-point shooter in high school, and then he got into the Archie system. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if he was told not to shoot.
Well, all right.
So,
Let's
who
go.
knows?
Let's go here for a second. Say, I'm going to see what you value right here. Say, the other team, you're in a Demetric Trice situation. They're forcing switches, and we've seen Trace struggle against, quicker, smaller guards. Say you're at the end of a game, close game. I think Race is somebody that can be switched because he's a bit more athletic. He's a bit quicker on his feet. What do you do in that situation? Do you take Trace out at the end of the game? No. Okay, but I was just seeing what you guys valued. If you valued the All-American, or did you value the, just the game plan in general?
I think they could play them both.
Yeah.
Like if they want.
That's
I think
enough.
that's like that would be. I don't know. Is that their best defensive lineup? What do you guys think? Like I think that Race and Trace out there, while it's clunky on offense, defensively, it's probably still their best lineup.
Your best defensive lineup needs Jordan Geronimo on the court. I agree. Think that's true. I think that's true.
I could make a case that him at the 3, because he's only 6'6", is like you go Rob. I don't know who their best 2 go. I think it's Parker Stewart.
Or Xavier.
Or Xavier or someone. Rob and one of those guys. And then Geronimo at the 3, Race at the 4, Trace at the 5. I mean, that's the death lineup for me.
That I see. Look, this is where I get weird at why you wanted Archie fired. That is an Archie Miller lineup. What you just described.
This is just last possession on this isn't for like an extended period of time. But I think that right there, who is giving up a basket at the end of the game?
Who are you playing?
I don't know if it matters.
Give me a No, just give me a matchup. Like, what team are you playing?
Purdue. Like I don't like Rob Finney is the quote unquote one of the top guards defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Geronimo can switch 1 through 5.
Yeah.
And be totally fine. Race, I think, is the same way. I think he switches 1 through 5 just fine. He's done it before. I know you're a little iffy on that, but he's definitely done it before. And Trace,
elite rim protector.
And the only guy I would worry about is the 2 guard. I mean, that's
yeah. So you pick Purdue, and they have maybe the best 2 guard in the Big Ten, Jaden Ivey. He's going.
Yes, but they also they would also have Stefanovic. So I would then put Rob on whoever's playing there, the best out of the 1-2.
Okay,
I got this.
Okay.
I'm ready. Like,
okay.
If you need me, I'm gonna come sit on. I'll be in the student section, and I'll call out that lineup for you at the end of the game.
Yeah, I don't know. You've seen where I don't trust Trace Jackson Davis on defense in different situations. Like if he gets matched up with an athletic big, he gets matched up with Kofi Coburn, he'll struggle. That's just, maybe he'll get better, maybe he'll get quicker, he'll get stronger. I don't know. I just think he struggles sometimes one-on-one. Okay.
I think, and Bryson can give his opinion on this, I think Duren being there helps, because not only is Duren a legit 7-footer, and Trace has struggled with those as well. Like going against Kofi has been a struggle offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
And Duren actually being there, being a legit 7-footer in practice every day. You talk about it, the guys at Kentucky battling each other every day, that helps them. I think this is helping him.
Yeah, maybe it does. Maybe just giving him another look than Joey Brunk is maybe that helps a bit.
Didn't even have Joey last year either.
Yeah,
like they basically didn't have. So I think that helps a lot. And one would hope. I mean, they're not playing the pack line anymore, so hopefully they've been working on some switches.
The pack.
I mean,
I love that. I just think Woodson should just go out and just run a random defense and call it the pack line and see how many people know. Because seriously, you could just run just a regular, 3-2 zone, and I'm just going to call it the pack line. Like, because I have no idea what it is.
It's a myth.
It is a myth. I guess it's just a way of thinking, but let's kind of move on. And all right, so this is what we do. We're at heart, we're a national basketball podcast, but in reality, we're IU UK. So that's what our leadoff story was. And right before I press record, usually it comes after I press stop, but we got lucky enough that Shams just posted a tweet saying that Emoni Bates has committed to the Memphis University. So let's get into it, because this is another recruitment we talked a lot about on the last podcast. We pretty much stated it's set in stone that he's going to Memphis. I had some strong opinions against Memphis, and Connor had some strong opinions for Memphis. First, somehow Connor became the biggest Penny Hardaway stan on earth a couple episodes ago. So Connor, you're Mr. Optimism for the Memphis Tigers, so let's hear a little bit about it.
Look, they have basically the top 2 players in the class now. And I mean,
whoa. In this class?
Yeah, were they not 1, 2?
No, they were 3. I think they were 3, 4, 4, 5. So I'm
thinking of Emoni. Yes, because he reclassified. Sure.
Yes.
I don't care. Emoni's
This is important because this is a take. I thought that was you being subjective, and that was your opinion. You think these 2 players are better than Chet and Paulo?
Definitely better than Chet. Definitely.
Yes, because if you guys are just listening now, Bryson did make the statement that Chet Holmgren will be the worst player in the West Coast Conference.
That's not what I said, but I don't think he's the number 1 player in basketball.
That is what he said.
Emoni committing today. Again, we talked about Memphis was already top 30 team, borderline top 25 team. They have a good roster, and there's no excuse now that they don't make it to like a Sweet 16, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And this is like, again, college basketball is becoming the NBA, I think, especially with all the portal stuff. You can basically just team up with whoever you want. And clearly it's really begun. Like this is like, I don't know, what do you get? This is like big 3 level stuff of like for college basketball. Like when LeBron and D-Wade and like Duren and Emoni teaming up just out of nowhere is like, it's going to be something special, I think. Whether they achieve their goals or not, I'm not sure. Because again, it is college basketball, and we've seen these super teams don't always work. Kentucky.
Okay.
Sorry.
That you think that's the way you want to go with that? Okay, that's fair. Look, okay.
It's fair. They've had good teams, and they've like John Wall and Boogie, and
they didn't win.
Cat and Booker.
It happens. I had to throw a shot. I had to throw a shot.
That's fine. But this is why I love this so much. So yes, it is. I love it and hate it at the same time. There's a reason I hate the NBA, and because the NBA has just no parity, and it's just super teams, blah, 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 all this. The college basketball has always had parity, and it always will. But the NIL is changing it a little bit, because these guys just join the college early. I think Emoni may have reclassified twice, if I'm not mistaken. That's why he won't be eligible for the next draft. But so it kind of changed that. People are just reclassifying willy-nilly, trying to get to college as fast as possible and make that check and then go to the NBA. So it is kind of, that's what I don't like. But it's also for content. This was amazing.
Absolutely.
Just perfect. Just Emoni Bates, Jalen Duren, 1-2 in the class of 2022, just out of nowhere, just come out and basically said it, that they're both going to Memphis like 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So this isn't a big surprise. Emoni Bates obviously had the Memphis email address, which was hilarious.
I think I sent something to you, Sam, like it was during the day, and I was just like, what is going on? Like we're in class. We've started class. All 3 of us have like started class this week. Yeah. Has Memphis not started yet? Like I don't like.
No, they started. I looked it up. They started August 23rd, so they started Monday. So I think you made a point when we were talking about it before. The drop ad deadline, which is probably the official deadline, is Sunday. So I think he's just going to add those classes. Some classes will magically appear when they were closed. For
Well, I mean, what
months.
classes is he taking? The funny thing is he has to be there for 2 years.
I would love to see his transcript.
I mean, he's going to have to do this for two years now. Like,
yeah,
at least 3 full semesters of college,
Yeah.
unless the rule changes, which you've said it probably
and
will.
yeah, the NCAA, it's just full of clauses, full of well, I mean, if we'll let him pass. So like, there's not a real rule in the NCAA. They're always broken.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going. He won't be in college for more than 1 year. It's just a weird situation. I think we'll see what goes down with this, because I'm sure I'm not calling them guilty, but I'm sure with the way circumstances went, there will be a hefty investigation because of how. There was. I'm not saying they'll find anything, but I'm just saying that was very fishy and very okay. You just added 2 top 5 guys in a week.
It's Penny Hardaway.
Exactly.
Just
got out of an allegation, and Larry Brown is on the bench. So.
Yeah. It's a super staff.
It's the sketchy super staff. It is.
Absolutely, it is.
It's very sketchy. So we'll see what comes out of that. But in terms of the actual team, I'm excited to see what happens with them, because like I said if Duren doesn't go to Kentucky, then I hope him and Bates go to Memphis, because I just want to see Penny Hardaway fail in the most fiery way possible. And I will die on this hill. I'm saying this right now. I don't think Memphis will be very good. They probably will make the tournament. I said they wouldn't as kind of a joke, but they will not be very good. They'll underperform. They may lose their first round exit territory. That's where I'm putting them. I'm making that take right now.
Clip
it.
Let me ask you this. I want to ask you both, because we talked about it over the summer, but Bryson was working. Bryson, what is a failure for this situation?
For them getting Emoni Bates and Jalen Duren.
Like what's the lowest, what's the bar here? Like they have to at least do
make
this
Sweet 16.
Okay. Yeah.
With the top 2 prospects in the 2023 class, I guess. I get that they reclassified and they're technically still aren't supposed to be there, but they're 1-2. Like
1-2, and before they came there, it was a top 30 team.
Yes.
Yeah. So at least the Sweet 16. And
yes,
I don't think they're going to do it.
What's their schedule look like? Do they?
They have a couple tough non-conference games. I think they play. I forgot who they play. Alabama, I believe, non-conference.
Ooh, that'll be a good one.
And then, of course, in their conference, they have Houston, who's going to be a tough competition in its own right. But Bryson, if you want to look up that
I'm on it.
schedule, So I think
they play Virginia Tech,
mm-hmm.
Iowa State or Xavier. They play Murray, Bama, Tennessee. That's their non-conference.
That's not a terrible non-conference schedule at all. Like Virginia Tech, Alabama, and you said Tennessee?
Tennessee.
I think they probably run through their conference. I think
and
so.
Western.
They probably so they probably beat Virginia Tech, right? I mean, have to. I think they lose to one of Tennessee or Alabama.
I think they drop both.
Is one at home or are they both on the road?
I think they're both neutral. I think one of them is definitely neutral. I think they
have Alabama at home, and then the other one's in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena. So neither is at. They play one home and one neutral.
Okay, so
they'll win one of those.
The Alabama game is at Memphis, really?
Alabama game is at Memphis.
Okay, maybe that'll be a little bit tougher. Oh, dude, this is going to be an awesome. This is going to be an all-time can't watch their home games team, because this is the team that you want to watch always, right?
Yeah.
But I cannot watch. I don't think I ever have, and I can't watch a full Memphis game on that court. Yes. You remember how bad that court is?
I honestly can tell you I haven't watched a Memphis basketball game like ever. I've never
Really?
just sat down and like
This-
I'm gonna
this
watch
is
the
gonna-
Memphis Tigers play
You know
basketball.
how young we're gonna sound.
Oh yeah, I know.
You were just disregarding the Cal era at Memphis because
Absolutely.
I didn't start watching till 2010. I didn't start
Yeah.
paying attention. I was 9 when that happened. So yeah, that we just made ourselves very young, but I guess that's our brand, so I'll go with it. But yes, this is an all-time cannot watch this on this court.
Sam, what is the best case scenario record wise? Like how many losses do you think they'll have? Like best case scenario.
Best case scenario, they could be the best team in the country. I'm not.
So you're actually giving them that.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I think they have a top 5 roster in the country.
Yeah.
And I think that's obvious. When we went over it, they have a mix of veterans who are solid pieces. Lester Quinones to name one. I think Boogie Ellis transferred out. Who is the gosh, I'm blanking.
Landers Noli?
Landers Noli. Yeah, he's a great player. And then you add Duren and Emoni Bates. That is a top 5 roster in its own right. So I'm not saying that they're terrible. It's a terrible group of guys.
What's the worst case then?
I'm saying the worst case is, and you're not going to like it, the absolute worst case is they completely bomb and don't make the tournament.
Oh, God.
How?
Penny-
They're playing the AAC.
Yeah. But
It's just
Penny
they
Hardaway
can't.
had one of the best rosters in the nation. Don't fool yourself. Penny Hardaway had one of the best rosters in the nation 2 years ago.
He lost
One of the best.
He lost Wiseman though for the whole year
from his own doing. I'm not going to
happen again.
for that.
That's not
But
going to
I'm
happen
give him-
again.
Look, Wiseman. He had Precious, and they lost the game with Wiseman. So I'm not even going to give him the satisfaction. They got beat with Wiseman.
Bro, Tulane is in their conference. They get to play Tulane.
They got beat by Tulsa by 40 2 years ago.
This team is
one of the best. Carolina in basketball.
This team is significantly better than that Wiseman team. Like significantly better because they
probably
have more veteran leadership on this team.
But I'm saying there's a chance they blow up because
There's two competent teams in their conference though.
But they will have a shorter leash because they're in that worst conference and their strength schedule won't be that big. Besides those non-conference games, besides those
you just said
in conference
is Houston.
Oh God,
they played them twice. Wichita State.
No. This is he asked for the worst case scenario, and this is not what.
This is crazy. The worst case scenario is that they make the tournament and lose like in the first round. Like I think that's the worst case scenario for them.
No, I think the absolute worst is they bomb like Emoni and Jalen sit because they're freshmen and they're very young. They're very young.
Benched.
Like they leave the team. They're young players.
Okay, no, I'm saying like that's not like that's a ridiculous hypothetical.
Yeah,
like we can't.
I'm saying for the worst case scenario.
I'm saying
if they played.
If they're playing and they play the whole year,
make it to the tournament, lose first round. That's my realistic worst case scenario. As like an 8 seed, 7 seed.
Okay, I can live with that.
Is that better?
Is bombing it? Yes, that's kind of what I was.
I actually think that they will be a 6 seed or a 5 seed in this tournament and lose in the first round. That is my prediction, and I'll stand by that. I think
that's crazy.
They're gonna get knocked off by like this really old, experienced mid-major team in the first round. Like they'll match up against like I don't even know, throw like a Loyola Chicago at them or something, and they'll lose that.
Oh my!
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying that there will be an eventual problem between Duren and Bates over.
No, because I think they are friends. I think they are friends. They played in high school together, AAU. Like if this is their first time playing together, maybe. But like Bates and Duren were talking about teaming up for a long time. So I think
you know who helps with that situation?
Who?
Rashid.
You love Rashid.
I love the hire, man. I think it's awesome. And he is not, and Penny for that matter, like they both have been. Penny knows, man. He's gonna these 1-2, like he has the most infamous 1-2 combo with Shaq ever.
Yeah,
and it didn't go well.
Turn out.
And look, you live and you learn, and you learn from those experiences. And he's gonna say, "Hey, I screwed up big time."
He started doing the commercials and Shaq.
It really wasn't even his fault. Like, what was he supposed to do? Like, it was the matter. But anyway, so like those two guys, and Larry Brown too, because he's again coached in the NBA, coached in college. He knows that these star players, they do have an ego, and they're gonna want their shots, but they'll work it out.
Look, I went on a big tangent about Emoni Bates' ego for a while. I'm not going to do it again because I feel like, I feel like we have a certain, not right, but we can say this, but like the grumpy old, 40-year-old broadcaster can't come out and say, oh, but his ego is so out of his shoes. But like, we're in this, like, we know what these players are going through. If I was 16, 17, like a young 17, like Emoni Bates is right now, and I'm one of the best players in the country, I enroll in Memphis literally after classes already start. They roll out this red carpet for me to be on the basketball program. They make all these exceptions for me. I'm going to have an ego too. I'm just saying, like, that is something that
he's been touted as the next LeBron. Too. So
he I think for seriously his freshman year, people were saying he is the next Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So
like, I will say this. I'm not going to be hypocritical either, because when Duren was considering Kentucky, I would bring up the point that him showing up this late is not good. That is something I would be worried about. And I am, because I'm the optimist of the Memphis Tigers here. So those two,
you have a lot riding on that stake, and I have a lot riding on the other side of the bet. Yeah.
They are, it's late, man. Like, it's late August. IU, I mean, they've already played 2 games together. These other teams have been practicing for months. And they're basically just throwing these 2 guys into the mix.
Yeah.
Like 2 months late, basically.
Team chemistry there, because you've had these guys on the team that have been practicing and working all summer, and then you just throw these 2 kids who are going to come in and think that they deserve everything and haven't worked for it.
Yeah.
And you could potentially run into problems there, but when you're that talented, you figure stuff out.
I don't think, and I think though it's a little bit different here, because I think if Kentucky took on Duren, if Duren chose Kentucky over Memphis, I'm not saying Kentucky had a chance. This isn't like the Kofi where I was like, oh, they said no to him. No, they were actively recruiting.
Blasphemy.
But if he chose Kentucky, I think it would have been a little bit different than him choosing Memphis, because Memphis didn't really have that clear cut, number one guy. Like they were like fringe top 30, almost top 25, but there was a lot of room for Jalen Duren to be there. So I think that kind of helps. Like, he filled a need, but then Emoni Bates comes in, and he's
the one.
Good. Yeah. I think Duren is fine, whatever. Like, there was rumors for it for a long time, but Emoni Bates, that recruitment like lasted for like 2 weeks. So it's
I will say this though, like he's a guy that can fit on any team.
Bates?
I mean, I think he fits anywhere. He's 6'8", 6'9", and does everything. Like, how does that not fit? That fits in any system. He can play the 2 through the 5, and he won't play the 5, but he could if he wanted to. And
he probably played point guard too.
It does, like, he could play all. It doesn't matter. So what system is he going to fail in? Like,
there's his talent wise, and I'll let Bryson go off a little bit about this because he's talent evaluated, but talent wise, right. Personality wise, maybe we run into some problems. I'm not saying anything about his game, because
it's good they have a player's coach and a former player assistant. Like, it's good that they have that.
Yeah, a player's coach.
That's what I would call Penny. He's a player's coach. Like in baseball, they call it the the coach. He's the clubhouse guy.
He's cutting those FedEx checks. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
man,
like
now
that.
it's legal. So
Yeah.
Cal's been doing it for
Apparently.
years in Antigua. So, I mean, at least it's legal now. He in Antigua. He's the players coach. God, can you imagine? Like the all-time players coach staff is like Penny, Antigua, Will Wade as the assistant because he's paying people to, like, my gosh.
just actively calling people that you think cheat players coaches.
Yes.
All
Throwing
right.
Sean Miller as the Thad Matta role. Like throw Sean, get him out of retirement. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I like that a lot. All right, Bryson. From an actual talent evaluation standpoint, Emoni Bates, that's not something we talked about a lot. Like, we like to, in the offseason, what we like to do, we kind of like to talk about, the drama of everything, like what's going on behind the scenes, how dramatic it is. It's like when Wyatt came on and talked about The Bachelorette for 30 minutes and we just sat there and let him do it on this college basketball. But anyways, tell us a little bit about Emoni Bates, what you think of him as a player. And is he a Chet Holmgren type player to where you're not on board or what?
I think that I think if it was at Michigan State, I think I would have been more in the Chet Holmgren bus because I don't think that Emoni Bates fits Michigan State system and culture, which is shocking to say with a player of his caliber. I just think he fits Memphis's structure and system. It just seems more free and loose, and that there's no like strict, like, this is how we do it. You have to play this way. And I think that's a benefit to Emoni Bates. I don't think he would. I just think that he would benefit in a more free flowing system where it's kind of,
NBA
hey,
style.
yes,
Yeah.
an NBA style. Hey, go get yours. Go break this kid down. Just go get a bucket, rather than, hey, you've got to run this play, do this cut. You have to be here. You get the ball at this time.
Him and Cal would not have gotten along.
Can you imagine Tom Izzo ripping into Emoni like at
making him
halftime
play
or something?
Defense? Like, hey, you have to play defense to play. Like,
hey, Tom Izzo is not a player's coach, guys. He's not a player's coach.
Tom Izzo, and it's not in like a bad way. Like, Tom Izzo is the farthest thing from a player's coach. Like, that is
in that aspect, because players love him, but
players love him, but he does not, like, he's not Penny Hardaway players coach-esque.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He's going to get on your butt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to let you know what you did wrong, and he's going to make you play hard. But I don't know. I just think that the fit, he probably couldn't have gone anywhere in the country that had a better fit for him personality-wise and game-wise. I really just don't think that. I mean, obviously he would have been fine anywhere just because of how talented he is. But I think that fit is perfect for him.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think another way and another avenue he could have taken is, the Cade Cunningham route, just gone somewhere, or the Patrick Baldwin route, just gone somewhere and he's the only guy there, and then just, all eyes on him, because I think that's the kind of mold that he's at right now. Like, that's the ego-wise, that's where he's at. But maybe if he shares the court with all these veterans, with Jalen Duren, and he has to stay there for 2 years, which he won't, but if he has to stay there 2 years, he will grow a lot from that, I think. I hope, for his sake, or else it's going to be tough to, for a general manager to draft him if he's not going to be the best player on that team immediately. So it'll be interesting. Do you kind of get what I'm saying there with, like, this ego-wise and everything? And Bryson, again, you're not in with the drama talk, but the way that he treated Michigan State, he had them on the hook, badly.
Yeah,
I can't believe that he did that.
I would never want a player that commits that early.
No,
commits way. Schifino did the same thing. He committed to Pitt early. It was like Jeff Capel's like first high level player, and he just left.
That's the thing. That's why everybody's trying to write off Sky Clark to Kentucky, because, like, he's been committed for so long.
Maybe he should come join his backcourt teammate.
Oh, you think he should go to Indiana?
Hey, take him.
Mike Woodson, baby.
He can come join the club.
No, but I think the difference with Sky Clark, but I get what you're saying. There's been many reports of him. Oh, maybe he'll leave, but I don't think he's actually considered that. And I think Sean Smith vocalized that pretty well when he was like, no, Sky Clark will be at Kentucky. But I think with that, he's been Kentucky's biggest cheerleader since day one.
That's true.
So
He's been like the recruiter. So he's a guy that wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
But
so,
I have one more thing on this Emoni Memphis talk.
Okay.
Penny Hardaway was actively interviewing to leave Memphis like a month and a half ago. I feel like that can't not be talked about. Like he was actively trying to leave, at least for an amount of time.
And then gets the number 1 and 2 player in the 2023 class.
Yeah, which it's like, think about this. Is this a butterfly? If like, what would have happened had he taken?
I have no idea. Where's Duren go? Where does
Duren go to Kentucky, or does he go to like Miami, or does Emoni go to Oregon or Michigan State? I don't, or probably G League. Probably both.
I think Bates goes pro and Duren goes to Miami. That's probably what
you think so.
That's what I think would have happened. But I mean, either way, what a crazy like. This has changed the landscape for Memphis basketball.
Yeah.
For the next 10 years, probably.
But now they have to win.
They do have to win, but recruiting wise, like I know they're in on another top 5 player, Chris Livingston, next year.
Yeah.
And what there isn't a better selling pitch than what they have right now. Like they're gonna sell, hey, we just got Emoni, we just did this. You can do this. You can play with Emoni if he's still here. I mean, crazy.
So Torres, we had Torres on early summer, and he says, Bates is, he's a couple years too late. That's it. That's the exact words he says. Now that he has 2, and he built his team around 2
Penny,
freshmen,
right? Not Bates.
Penny.
Okay.
What did I say?
You said Bates.
Sorry. He's talking about Penny. He said Penny got there, 2 years too late, whatever. Now that Penny has surrounded a team around 2 prolific freshmen, and that's not the way college basketball is headed. Does that?
I think it's fine though. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
they've got enough upperclassmen to balance that out.
Maybe.
I got a question. Okay. One more. What do you think the NIL deal was to get Bates?
Oh, it's at least seven figures immediately.
You think for NIL?
Oh yeah.
Like for what he's going to make in college?
Well, what
he's given
to him to get him to go to Memphis? What was like promised? Like, hey, you can make this if you commit here.
Legally, that I don't think that's allowed. But like once he got there, he's going to make 7 figures, 6 figures. But I don't think. Again, this is where it gets weird because I saw the same report you did, Connor, and I don't think it would have came out if it was illegal. But what's that? Memphis.
Yeah. You can like pitch it. Hey, you can make this.
I mean, that was tweeted. This was tweeted at the beginning of August, like when Duren committed. So like they're telling them that, hey, we have deals with our sponsors lined up.
Yeah.
They like to hire those people to set up the deals. We've got it ready. It's 7 figures. We just
specifically against the rules.
I don't know if it is. I don't think it is though.
That is the one thing you can't do with NIL. From what I read in that initial NIL report and the initial NIL rule that came out, I think like the only rule that you can't really get around, but I guess you can behind the scenes, but like not like that, is coaches can't be involved in.
Well, I don't think they were actively like saying. Like I
don't think
Memphis is going to pitch that once they're committed. Like they can make it well known, like, hey, we are sponsors, like we are close with these people, we can set up these deals. They can't just say, hey, we're gonna get you seven-figure deals, but once they're committed, there's nothing against it.
I'll have to look into those rules because there's no way that's against.
There are no rules. There really are.
I guess there's
not yet.
Yeah, and I'm sure there will be because there's no way it is allowed that like I just thought the one rule was the coaches cannot be the middlemen in these deals. I thought that was the only rule.
I'm guessing they
thought,
have
seriously,
they
that was it.
have somebody else, some agency hired to do that. Maybe they sat in on the recruiting meeting. I don't know.
That's crazy. This
I
is
have
a
no- this-
wild time we're living in.
Welcome
I
to
mean,
the
you
NBA.
know the dude got paid to commit. Like
Welcome.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
this
deal,
is
once
big
he
market.
committed, you make this.
This is becoming, Sam, you're gonna hate it, and I don't have a problem with it. Big markets versus small markets. This is the new era of the NIL because Memphis can offer that. A Kentucky can offer that.
Well,
A school like Purdue, who's been good, consistent, they can't offer that to a player.
well,
They can't do that.
Here's a little bit of the difference. I think it'll attract certain, like obviously the best of the best will go to the Kentuckys, they'll go to the Dukes, so apparently they'll go to the Memphises now, whatever. But like, there's still going to be players. Once you start to stack them, you make less and less money. So like the fourth best player on a Kentucky will make probably less than the best player on Purdue. That's just how
Really?
it works. I think
It
so.
depends.
I don't think
you
so.
think so because like the best player on Purdue has the priority of all of the businesses around that city.
Oh, in West Lafayette.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
okay.
A lot
We're
of
in
big
Bloomington.
businesses there.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're in Bloomington, so that's not going to be a popular statement I just made, but that's seriously how I think it will kind of even itself out if we're in this free market.
We'll see.
It
I don't know,
won't
though.
be. I think obviously the best of the best will go to those best programs and maybe even the second tier. But once you stack it to like 4 or 5, that fourth and fifth best players, they won't make as much money as they would elsewhere, in my opinion. I don't know. We'll see how it goes down. Nobody really knows, but we'll see how it goes down. But thank you guys for joining me, Bryson. It was nice to have you back. It took me a while, in case you didn't realize, it took me a while to get back in the flow of things, get my podcast voice ready because it's been forever. But thanks for waiting on us. Like and subscribe, 5 stars, leave a rating. Feel free to do whatever as long as it's 5 stars. Only 5 stars. I'm begging you for 5 stars. Please, please, please. No, I'm joking. Love you guys, though. And seriously, thanks for joining me, guys. Have a good rest of your classes this week. Connor, you probably are done for like the semester or something with all the breaks you get. But thank you guys for listening, seriously, and love you guys.